Let me ask you something. Have you ever met a girl who made your heart race, who occupied your mind even in silence, and you wished, desperately wished, that she felt the same way about you? Now be honest with yourself. Have you ever wanted a girl to be so into you that you're the first thing on her mind in the morning and the last thought before she sleeps? What if I told you that making a girl addicted to you is actually pretty easy? Not with tricks, not with fake bravado, but with the kind of psychological intensity that hits her soul deeper than attraction ever could. Before we dive deep into this, hit that subscribe button and like this video, because what you're about to learn might just change your entire love life. Watch this till the end, because every second reveals a part of the formula most men never understand, and that's why they lose the girl. So let's build this together, slowly, story by story, moment by moment. Point 1, the power of unpredictable attention. This is going to sound extremely personal, but have you ever given someone your all and then watched them go, as if you didn't exist? Consider her. The one who used to say she couldn't get any rest unless she heard your voice, and who used to grin at your midnight texts. Even when you set her status to read, she now simply vanishes. Is gone. What went wrong? That's the question that remains. You paid too much attention to the predictable details, and I'll tell you why. When your availability is constant, your value drops when you always respond promptly, congratulate her constantly, and appear like a puppy pursuing attention. You made her feel overconfident, not because you are insufficient. Where do women stand? Mysteries captivate them. Listen, I'm not advocating that you engage in gaming. However, being genuine does not equate to being overly approachable. She will quit checking her phone for your messages. If she thinks they will be answered within minutes, she will cease being curious about what's next if she knows you will arrange every date. Consider your most recent breakup. Was it with a female who over time lost interest in you because she knew you would be there no matter what? Who stopped checking in with you and wondering where you were? Should I inform you that if you had retreated slightly, enough for her to sense your departure, she would have pursued you? That she would have freaked out if you had vanished for even a day, fearing the worst? This is about value for oneself, not manipulation. You become fascinating when you pay attention in an unexpected way. Her mind races with questions such, why hasn't he texted? Does he no longer care? Was what I did incorrect? What you withhold rather than what you say is the source of addiction. I know how painful it is to have someone you loved sincerely break your heart. On the other hand, perhaps it became monotonous for them. You provided too much, not because you weren't adequate. She will fill the voids with obsession if you make her feel their absence. Point 2, emotional echoes. Mirror her deepest desires. Return with me to a moment when, do you recall the time when you were in her company, when all your troubles seemed to go away? Those moments when she seemed to be staring at you as if you were her sole observer? Those instances have nothing to do with your wealth or appearance. Feeling understood was crucial to them. Would you like to create an addiction in a girl's mind? Interact with her more than that. Express your understanding by listening to her even when she doesn't speak. Carrying quiet agony every woman wanders about. Perhaps someone has left her behind. Perhaps she has been taken advantage of. Perhaps, like to you, she experiences evenings when she stays in bed, gazing at the ceiling, contemplating the excruciating ache of love. When you are able to mirror her essence back to her, when you can express, I know what it feels like to be the one who always loves more, that's when she becomes captivated. Rather than what you say, it's how you create an environment where she can easily be herself that matters. Has it ever happened to you that a girl sobbed into your arms while saying, I've never told anyone that before? That's no accident. It's a form of emotional imitating. She'll think you've been through everything she has because of it. Being authentic means showing her that you aren't flawless, wounded yet supple. It hurts, but it's okay. She trips and collapses at that moment. At such point, she will begin to check her phone in the vain hope that your name appears on it. At night, she starts to fantasize about your voice. Chasing for her corpse is unnecessary. Tap into her spirit. Never allow yourself become emotionally distant because of a past heartbreak, or because you were vulnerable with someone who then abandoned you. Allow it to take you to a perilous depth, someone who can addict her with his emotional security. A woman would do anything to keep you by her side. Once you mirror her tale in a way that she herself cannot articulate, the sensation of being acknowledged by you becomes addictive for her. Point 3. trigger her emotional memory. I have a question for you. Do you remember the first time you smelled her perfume? The one who broke your heart in the past. All of her charming touches, her laughter, her hair, and the way she would cuddle up to you like you were her home, will bring back warm memories. Then what? She departed. Perhaps she is having an affair. Perhaps those evenings are completely etched from her memory. However, it's you who does it. The reason being that memories are potent. What we see is more than just mental images. What we feel has remained constant. The thing that most guys don't know is that you have the power to become her emotional recollection. Consider it. From the highs to the lows, the joy to the tears, every woman's life is defined by the experiences she has had. Furthermore, you will have rent-free mental real estate in her thoughts, indefinitely if you are the man who evokes an intense emotion in her that she cannot forget. Can you recall the way your ex-partner would grip your hand more tightly when a thunderstorm was brewing? How your whisper of "I believe in you" brought a slight grin to her face. There was a sense of being acknowledged. When you really get down to it, that's what's been nagging at you, being loved wholeheartedly. A lady can also experience that emotion from you, not with pricey meals or bouquets of flowers. However, by being there for her when she's weak, when you understand the backstory of her silence, keeping in mind the tune that brings tears to her eyes, she will be unable to let go of you after you make an emotional impression on her. Tiny moments when she feels so connected, so protected, so understood. Whatever she does, even if she attempts to progress, she will internalize your voice. She'll wonder, why doesn't he feel like him? Whenever she sees a male. Also, don't isolate yourself if you've gone through a breakup, or if someone has broken your heart. Be strong. Make sense of your profound feelings by drawing on that suffering. Neither wealth nor perfection are prerequisites. Make your presence known. It's not the physical contact that makes a woman addicted, but the impression you make on her soul. Point 4. The power of pulling away at the peak. This brings us to our next topic. The most perilous thing you can do, the silent killer that makes women go ballistic. In the midst of her most intense feelings, she pulls away. That may come out as harsh. Continue nevertheless. Do you know what it's like to have someone you cared about lose interest in you, just as you were about to give them everything? Imagine falling in love for the first time. For a while there, it seemed like magic. You shared endless stories, laughed till 3 a.m, dreamed big, and then fell hard. However, she lost her enthusiasm for responding at some point. She became more busy, cold. Where do you stand? You held on tighter. You sent more texts. You implored. Unfortunately, she drew more and farther away the more you contributed. Turn the tables now. What if you retreated just as she was starting to develop feelings for you instead of pursuing? Picture this. You recently had a profound night of intimacy. Confidence was restored as she spoke. She sobbed. "I feel like I can be myself with you," she informed you. At that point, the majority of men start to relax. Whereas the brightest folks, space is made by them. Just the right amount for her to sense how lonely you are when you're not there. The kiss is followed by a brief pause. A profound discussion ends in quiet. The way you disconnect from the internet, not to play games, but to savor the moment. Because obsession begins with a lack, you offer her a taste of life apart from you as you step down at the summit. Your voice silenced. You don't need to stare at her as if she were the only lady there. Unexpectedly, she is dependent on you, despite your pleading. Why? Because you were perfect at knowing when to let go and how to make her long for your return. Do you remember a time when the person you loved vanished, just when you needed them the most? I thought it stung, but it also sparked an obsession in you. Reason being, we don't develop a dependency on ease. Addictions to things we have no control over are common. Thus, refrain from being emotionally intrusive for too long if you wish to create an addiction in her. Let her enjoy the high for a while before she moves on to the next one. Point 5. Make her jealous without trying. How about I ask you a personal question? After a breakup, has your ex ever started posting more? Laughing and smiling with strangers? In unfamiliar locations? Laughing more out loud than when she was with you? Oh my, that's hot. Plus, it makes you question, does she intend for me to feel envious? The catch is that envy isn't only unpleasant. This proves that you were important. The thing that most guys fail to comprehend is that women develop an addiction to men who aren't entirely available to them. The reality is you can't make her jealous if you want her to pursue you, be so fearless and live your life to the fullest that she can't help but notice the transformation. To put it another way, you've decided to stop messaging her. Her stories aren't appealing to you. Her stories are going unwatched by you. Instead, you're working on bettering yourself. The gym is going to be your new hangout now. You have the ability to read. You're on the road. You're around folks that bring actual vitality into your life. Then out of the blue, she finds a photo of you smiling with an unknown female. Her camera pans closer. She plays it again. Her eyes dart across your page. But you know what? Something she believed she had began to elude her. The realization hits her at that very moment. You were never in a dire situation. In your life story, she was only a passing chapter. What about the human brain? It despises being deprived of what it believed was assured. In the event that she has ever broken your heart or made you feel expendable, reclaiming your power is achieved in this way. In no uncertain terms. Video games, no. However, she feels humiliated by the apparent improvement. Thus, refrain from pleading if your goal is to develop a strong attachment to a female. Become famous all around. Jealousy can really benefit you in that way. Point 6, say less, mean more. What does a female recall most often? The man with the most words doesn't win. It's the one who effortlessly says just the perfect thing at just the right moment and then goes silent. A little tale awaits you. A man by the name of Ayan lived there. He was devastated after his separation. He did what most of us do and sent her lengthy texts trying to get a response. She was unsuccessful. He was just left on scene. But suddenly he ceased penning his thoughts. He worked silently to mend. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, he worked on himself. "Hey, how have you been?" She texted him months later. What was his response? "It has improved me now. I hope the same for you. I'm done." Absent pursuit. Do not overwhelm her with your feelings. Stay composed. Even after that, she couldn't resist sending more texts. My brother, quiet piques interest. And a guy who isn't utterly begging for the spotlight? That has a great magnetic pull. When a guy isn't flashy about his desires but is magnetic in his presence, women find it hard to resist. A love letter can't always be louder than your silence. Thus, if you find yourself perpetually elaborating, a constant demonstration of value, end it. Manifest your essence. Allow her to ponder your thoughts. She should miss you. Listen, if a lady ever felt any affection for you, more than any words you could ever type, your silence will haunt her. Point 7, be the man she can't control. Let's be honest. When did your ex-boyfriend first show no regard for you? Perhaps it happened when you caved to everyone's demands, while you were canceling her arrangements, when you remained quiet as she yelled, upon pardoning her, even though she failed to express regret. And then slowly she began to pull away. You started to be expected, no problem, easily manageable. This is going to seem harsh, but listen up. No woman will remain dependent on a guy she has complete control over. Is chasing you something you desire? Put your fear of saying no to rest. Establish yourself as the kind of man whose boundaries are so strong that not even she can stay in your life. A female may try to provoke you, tease you, or even show interest in other men in order to gauge your level of sensitivity. You can stand your ground without showing any emotion, but she will sense it the second you do. For the simple reason that every woman longs for a man who can be relied on when times go tough. Strive to be the non-arbitrator. Doesn't always provide an explanation. Refrains from trying to outdo her. A grin instead. When you are insulted, you separate yourself. Your actions, rather than your words, demonstrate to her that you are unafraid to let her go. Then it hits her. She never had you all along. Addiction is that, my brother. Reason being, you're not harmful. But that's because you're impenetrable. Conclusion. Putting on an act won't make a girl fall head over heels for you. This isn't a game. The goal is to develop into the type of guy who can reliably draw her closer to him. Keep your focus. Stand out. Be the unexpected twist in her routine life. Because she will long for your departure after she has experienced your presence. When are you coming back? The thought of releasing her grip will be unbearable to her. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.